welcome back in. Glad you could join us here. We're going to get everybody connected here, give them a few seconds to figure out we're back online and live here. People can join us at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, of course, but you already knew that because you are already here. So yeah, sorry about that. It took me a little bit longer than I expected to get live again this morning because we were troubleshooting a secure update or login issue. We had somebody actually call us that she could not get logged into her secure updater, and because it was black, like I talked about on the show, and so I ended up having to reset her password for her, and then that got her in just fine. So anyway, we got that all taken care of for you. But welcome if you're joining us here for the first time. This is the After Schrock. This is where we do funny things that we normally wouldn't necessarily do on the radio show. So there are some things that that I can do when I am on air, and there are some things that I probably shouldn't do or say when I am on air. This gives us a little bit more of an intimate place that we can all talk together, and I can get feedback from you guys. And I'm trying to open this up right now to get the live stream up on my other monitor, so I can actually look at questions and answer them, which is good. All right, here we go. Back on. Good to have you, Bob. Okay, let's get this popped open. There we go. All right, we got that up now. Okay, so as people are streaming in and joining, a couple cool things this week. We are expecting the big Windows update to happen. We're expecting it sometime between the 26th and the 28th. So obviously it's not going to happen Monday. Tuesday is a good possibility. Wednesday, it's fired on a Wednesday or a Thursday in previous updates. So it is going to happen next week, guys. So be ready for that. We're going to send out robocalls. If you have a safe upgrade that you have purchased, we're going to call you. We're also going to send out email. We're going to do a Facebook Live. We're going to reach out to you in every way we possibly can to tell you it is time to go and get that update launched. If you prefer to bring your computer into the service center and have us do the update on the bench, we will be doing those. It's $80 for us to update it on the bench versus $50 if you do it at home yourself. So it's just a matter of what you're more comfortable with. If you try to do it at home yourself and you can't get it to go for any reason, for some reason, something's popping up saying it just won't install, we'll try to help you over the Schrock desk, but if we can't get it done over the Schrock desk, we will ask you to come in. And if you do come in, we have to charge you the $30 difference for having it done on the bench between the $50 you paid and the $80 for the in-shop install. But that, yeah, hey, we got to pay the rent. We're one of the 40. Oh my gosh, I saw a statistic, guys, that 45% of commercial retail landlords have not been paid for almost 3 months. That means almost half of every commercial property in the nation, the landlord has not been paid for 3 months. That the default letters are going out. So a lot of landlords are having to send default letters to their tenants. The problem is they don't want to. In Nebraska, we're in a little bit of a bubble, so it's not as bad here. It's bad. There's a couple places in Midlands Place over by our Papillion store that I don't know that they're going to come back. One has a handwritten Sharpie sign that just says closed on it, stuck on the door. And there's a ladder in there. They're taking fixtures down. So I don't know if they're just not going to come back or what the deal is. But it's sad. It's super sad. But the good news here is that we are part of the 60% of tenants that have been paying our rent. So we're not going anywhere. So that's the good news. In fact, we are adding service centers. So what I'd like to talk about on the program today, number one, I want to tell you about the new modular storage devices we have coming out. Number two, I want to ask you where we should go next. So be thinking about that. Where should we put the next service center? So we have Papillion, Omaha, Lincoln. The Des Moines is opening up this fall. We have had talk about possibly putting a second service center in Lincoln. People in Lincoln have been asking for it for a long time. It's not because the population of Lincoln is so large that a second service center would be, absolutely essential. It's not like we're opening in Kansas City where you could open 3 service centers and still, not cannibalize each other. But in Lincoln, it's just so darn long to drive across town. It takes forever to drive across from one side of town to the other. And so we're about as far south in Lincoln as you can get. And, we don't have any presence on the north side at all. And that north side is where Best Buy used to be. So all the older computer repair shops have clustered around that. And that's where they've been decaying ever since. They haven't moved. Best Buy moved. They didn't move. And so as a result, they're just they're all north. So there's a lot of options out north, but we're not really there to in the mix because we're so far south. People will drive to us for the service. They'll drive to us for a sale, but they won't necessarily want. The place is right around the corner. Maybe I could just go there for a quick fix. We want to be the quick fix place too. So we're trying to figure out where we go next. Now the reason we're asking this question now before we open Des Moines is if you listen on Des Moines and WHO in Des Moines, you know that our show has been on the air for almost 2 years now before we open this service center up. Which means that when we come into the market, we'll already have at least a few people who know who we are, who have some of our products, who know about our services, who are excited for us to open up, who are interested in our computers. That's what we want to have. We want to have this a base to build from when we first move into a market, rather than going in cold. Now, when we opened the Omaha Service Center, we went in cold. We opened the service center and we launched the radio show on KFAB at the same time. It took 6 months before we had enough business coming in the door in the Omaha Service Center to keep people relatively busy all day. And it took 2 years before the service center was really humming along like we wanted to see it. So that's one of the reasons why we've gone to this model now where we go at least a year with a radio show in a market before we put a service center there. And we watch the metrics from the show. So it's not just having the show on the air. We look at the ratings. The ratings on WHO for our time slot are through the world. They're multi-thousand times higher than they were before. So that's impressive. So we look at that. We look at, there are some products that some people, you can't really buy some products. Well, let me put it this way. It's hard to buy one of our computers when you live in Des Moines unless you want to have it shipped to you. And then you have this concern about servicing it and things like that. Well, I have to bring it to Omaha because you don't have a shop here, that kind of thing. When we have a shop there, a lot of those things become easier. So we look at the things that people can easily purchase when they live in a city. So like Safe Upgrade, for example, like Semantic Endpoint, like Secure Updater. These are things that are universal, that can all be digitally supported, that all do great things for your computers, but we look and see where those are selling. And we say, okay, we put the show in this market, and after that we saw an increase in these Schrock products that we can deliver virtually. In fact, in Des Moines, we've been selling computers in Des Moines. We're going for our first on-site this week to deliver a really nice computer to a woman out there and do an on-site setup for her. So it's going to be our first on-site delivery to Des Moines. It's pretty cool. We want to set that. We have to start setting that table a year before we open the service center. So right now, as we are about to open Des Moines, it is time for us to say, where are we going to put the next radio show? So that's my question to you this morning. Where should we put it? We want to get something that is, we don't want to go geographically crazy. We don't want to open New York, San Francisco, Portland, something stupid like that. We want to keep it reasonably close where we can reasonably keep an eye on things and make sure that everything is working the way we want it to work. So we want to keep it in the region, basically. So we have Des Moines. The next logical place would be someplace like a Kansas City or Minneapolis or a suburb of Denver, maybe. Those would be the next logical places, although we can look at other smaller areas. For example, Grand Island doesn't have a computer repair shop anymore, not a consumer-based one. Now, the problem is that the population of Grand Island is such that I don't know that it would support a full, all-out Schrock Innovation Service Center, but maybe we could find some kind of a satellite model to open up, like a small model to open there to basically be some kind of a hybrid for a smaller market. So there's a lot of different things that we can do going forward. So I want to ask you right now, where should we put the next service center? Where are you listening from that you want to see a service center? All right, let's see here. Thor Stradamus. Winston, I am not Thor Stradamus. Thor Stradamus is the guy is mythical. I mean, he is like from Norse legend, and he only talks to me like once a year. So I joke it's a Thor Stradamus moment here, but I mean, he tells me these prophecies, and at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, however you want to look at that, we go back and we hold him accountable. We say, here's what he predicted, and here's what happened. And it's like, dude's been right 100% of the time for years. Spot on right. Scary stuff, but I'm not Thor Stradamus. Can't believe that. Good to see you, Nan, Roy, Don, thanks for joining us. Hey, top fan Mitch. I like your jewel there. Winston's a top fan too, so I can see that. My wife was like, "Why am I not a top fan?" She's like, "I comment on everything. I like everything." It's because you're a page administrator, dear. You can't be a top fan if you're the administrator. You can't be your own best fan. I'll be your best fan. That's okay. All right. Good to see you, Scott. Carolyn, good morning from Round Rock, Texas. Carolyn says, moving your corporate office to Round Rock for tax purposes is a great idea. You know, Carolyn, the stuff is going to get real scary because all the coronavirus spending that's happened, there's going to have to be some coronavirus taxes to pay for it now. And the rationale is going to be, you sure weren't complaining when we were dropping everything to make life easier for you or to help you stay home. Now it's time to pay the bill for that. That's not going to be fun. So yeah, might not be so far from the truth. We'll see. Alrighty. Going down the list here. May I suggest placing a service center in Grand Island? I have mentioned this before once or twice. Mark it. That's exactly why I specifically mentioned Grand Island, because I knew you were going to bring it up. It's not a bad idea, honestly. It's a different market than we're used to. There are competitors there for the corporate level of services, but from what I understand, the majority of the consumer computer repair shops are tired of dealing with people and they want to do corporate level work instead for businesses, which of course, it's a reliable income source. It's a larger per ticket total. There's a lot of reasons why corporate IT is profitable, but we have kind of got the system down on working with consumers. We know how to do it. We know how to recommend what you need, how to steer you away from the things you don't need, and how to make decisions that are good with you, not for you, but with you. It's not a bad idea. It would be pretty geographically close. Interesting ideas. We'll see. Nancy says Phoenix. Phoenix is not in our region, Nancy. Oh, goodness. Surprised my solid state hard drive was 99. Bob says he was surprised that his solid state hard drive went to 99% within a year. Nikki explained that you've had groups of solid states arrive bad. Glad it was under warranty. Okay, so here is the thing you have to understand about warranties, Bob. Your hard drive, according to the manufacturer, was not bad. We literally have to fry them before we send them back because they won't take them back when they're at 99%. The hard drive is not bad until it fails to access data. That's the way you determine if a hard drive is in a failure state for warranty purposes with anybody else. That's HP, that's Dell, that's many of the local computer repair shops. If your hard drive comes back at 99%, they don't screw around, or we don't screw around with it. They will tell you it's still fine, you're fine. You could live at 99% for a year. 99% is just a made-up number anyway. 99% health, what does that even mean? We've heard that before. What that means is that your hard drive has had a technical failure that it's not supposed to have. Now here's the thing. With a rotating disk hard drive, you are absolutely right. You can chill out at 99% for a year, or it can blow up tomorrow. With a solid state hard drive, these things are binary. When you have any flicker of a glimmer of an indication of a problem, you replace that drive and you replace it fast. Especially if it's under warranty and it's free to do so. So that's the thing, Bob. We don't screw around when it comes to warranties on hard drives because hard drives store the only thing that's keeping your computer from going the way of a television, which is the data on the hard drive. If we don't protect that, we're not protecting you. So that's why we came up with Drive Advisor. We had a problem in the service center. We would test a hard drive and say it's bad. A customer would take it to another shop to get a second opinion, and they would say the hard drive is fine. Schrock's trying to fleece you for $300. We needed some way to demonstrate to a customer, this is a test that you can run at home yourself, Drive Advisor, that you can see that it's at 99% health. And you can take it back to the guy who told you it was fine, and you ask him why it's at 99% health. Because we were getting one-star Google reviews from this happening. And we're like, we can't have that. So we said, listen, I understand you don't want to bring it back in, you don't want to trust us, install Drive Advisor. It will tell you the same thing we told you. Because that's what we use to test the drive. So yeah, it's going to tell you it's bad. But the thing is getting it, number one, you got to have a backup. Always have a backup. In fact, one of the things that we're about to start offering in our Intrepid and Gallant laptops are internal backup hard drives in the laptop because it's that important. Not external, but internal. So yeah, that's Bob. Equipment goes bad, but this is like, okay, if you're driving down the road and your transmission in your car slips, so it doesn't shift right, we call that a bad transmission, because for our level of service, it's not worth risking you getting stranded in the middle of nowhere because you thought, oh, it's nothing this one time, or it'll be fine. We call that bad and we replace it because you're under warranty. It's not like we're charging you money for it. This is one of the reasons, guys, it's super important to keep your Schrock modular computers under warranty at all times. We make it easy for you. So warranties are $125 a year. If you don't use the warranty, you get your money back at the end of the year. You can use that to buy another year of warranty. You can flip it year after year after year. If you don't have a warranty and your hard drive goes to 99%, you got to pay us to replace it. That's not as fun as getting it replaced for free under warranty. It's really not as fun. You will save money on the warranties. If you have a modular computer, there are still people who don't do it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Get the warranty. You'll appreciate it. St. Joseph, Missouri will be actually we're looking at that. I got a quote back for the Kansas City area for a radio station, and maybe you can help me out with this one, Mark. The radio station that we are looking at is Mary. We're looking at a time slot of it's KMBZ. So KMBZ. It's actually an FM talker. It's an FM news talk radio station. 8 to 9 a.m. on Sundays is the day we're looking at there. You guys might not know this, but these radio stations won't run our high quality content for free. We have to actually pay to run our content on these programs. They want as much money on that station as KFAB wants to run our show on a 100,000 watt blowtorch. There are no 100,000 watt blowtorches on the FM dial. So you're literally talking about an FM station that's going to reach the greater Kansas City area and no further. It's not going to reach out into the rurals. It's not going to hit the farms. It's an FM talker. We've never been on an FM talker before. They want a lot of money. It'd almost be like me hiring another employee. That's how much money they want annually to run the show on that station. So if any of you have any experience listening to KMBZ in Des Moines, let me see if I can get call numbers for you here. Or not in Des Moines, sorry, in Kansas City. KMBZ radio station. Kansas City News and Talk. KMBZ is a commercial. Wait, it says it's an AM station here. Oh, they have an FM repeater. Gotcha. Okay. So KMBZ is an AM station licensed to Kansas City. Frequency is at 980 AM. Okay, so I learned something new. Because when I Googled them, it just said they were 98.1 FM. So I'm like, it's an FM talker. But they also have an AM side that is on 980 on the dial. Funny thing about radio, the lower you go on the dial, the further your signal travels. It's just a weird sciencey thing. So 980 will go further than 1110 if they have the same watts of power behind them. So that explains why they're a lower wattage station, because they're lower on the dial. They can get the same coverage at a lower watt rating. So that makes a lot of sense. But if anybody listens to KMBZ, I noticed they didn't really have any nationally syndicated radio talk show hosts. Their website was not bad, but was pretty plain. Let me know what you think of that station, if that's a station that we should look at, because they want a redonkulous amount of money. Like, are you expecting a counteroffer kind of number they threw at me? All right. Tracy, yeah, so we're looking at August. Thank you for replying. I appreciate it. It is completely unbiased. All righty. Oh yeah, she shot down several ideas, guys. Like there's stuff that you've never heard of that has come out of my mouth, and she's like, no. So yeah, so Thomas says KMBZ in Kansas City has been around for many, many years. Yeah, they definitely have the ratings. I looked up their ratings, and they're I think they're the third highest radio stations and ratings in the Kansas City metro area. And the interesting thing about Kansas City, so here's the thing. This is the calculus works on this. If we open a new service center in Grand Island, for example, we don't have to put a new radio show up, right? Because we're covered by KFAB still. We have KFOR in Lincoln. I think that reaches Grand Island. Um, we'd run some local ads in the local market, maybe do some high school sponsorships, things like that to get our name out in the local community. But yeah, that's about it. We pop a service center up, we run some specials, and we build a list, and we take care of people. We take care of people like no one's ever taken care of people before, and that's how we enter a market. Um, if we do that in Grand Island, we can open one store. It'd be a small store. It would probably have about half the revenue of our Papillion Service Center based on population of Grand Island. I'm guessing, just a guess. If we open a Kansas City store, like St. Joseph, for example, we're going to spend a lot of money on a radio station. But I can open up 3 service centers over the period of 3 years by being in that market. So, in other words, the idea here is on an annual basis, we want to penetrate a new market. So we want to get into Kansas City we want to get into Des Moines. And the next year, we're going to look at penetrating a different market with one service center. And the next year, we look at penetrating a different market with one service center. And then, as those markets establish themselves, as they go through like a natural business cycle, as we achieve, at some point, you've reached everybody you're going to reach on KFAB that listens to the show. You reach everyone you're going to reach on KFOR that listens to KFOR. We're not reaching people who don't listen to AM radio, for example. Well, that's a lot of people. You can't throw away half of the population because they don't listen to AM radio. So then you have to reach out to those people through other means like Facebook and things like that. That's why we ask you guys, it's so important to like and share and do all those things, especially if you want us in your local community, because Facebook is one of the metrics that we look at. Where are our online viewers at? If they are in Round Rock, Texas, and the whole town of Round Rock has a viewing party every weekend, and they're like, please bring a service center to Round Rock, Texas, at some point the pressure becomes a little intense, and we got to bring a service center to Round Rock, Texas. So right now we're building that infrastructure out. We did a demo of our new online system. It's for in-house use. That's going to help my staff keep everything in one place for you. It's also going to give you one place to log into where you can check endpoint subscriptions, secure updater subscriptions, when your next maintenance checkup is due. It'll also rank the completeness of your technology picture based on what we know about your computer. So do you have antivirus? Do you have Secure Updater? Do you have Drive Advisor? Are your Windows 10 version current right now? Those are important things that we want to figure out. And so we collect all that when you're in the service center, and then we can put that as a meter so that you can have one easy place to check to see how you're doing. Do you have a solid state hard drive? Do you have enough memory? What's the standard? Where do you fall on that line? Well, you'll have a percentage where you can get up to 100%, and you have the best potential computer you can have for what you're using it for. And that's what we're trying to do for people, is to give them the best experience they can possibly have. All righty. Get on TV, Fox. Well, TV is we've looked into this. Okay. So the first thing is here on Facebook, for example, do you really need to be on Fox? Could we just do it? If we were going to do a daily TV show or a weekly TV show, are we not doing a weekly TV show right now? Kind of a hybrid, right? Funny thing, guys, if you could make a reality show about Tiger King, I am pretty sure you could make a reality show about a business struggling to expand in the midst of a pandemic while it pays all of its people, while it suddenly becomes an essential business, while it lysols the hell out of everything in sight, and is profitable. There's so much stuff that we see. Do you guys know? Oh my gosh, we had to eject someone from the Lincoln Service Center yesterday. I can count on one hand in 21 years the number of times we've had to ask a person to leave the service center. And he's not a bad guy. He comes in. I don't know if he's just really, really lonely or really, yeah, I don't know. He wants to talk, right? And so he comes into the service center, and the guys are nice to him, and they talk to him. He's not like mentally handicapped or anything, but they talk to him, and he's talking about stuff. And then as soon as you're like, okay, it's been like a half an hour, but I've got to get back to work, because Thor's probably looking at the camera like, why is he talking to this guy? No, they're not doing anything. I got to get back to work. I've got stuff I got to get done for customers. And then he's like, well, tell me about these computers over here. And so then you're like, Okay. So you talk about the computers, and then once you're done with the computer thing, he's like, "Do you want to play chess?" And he pulls out of his backpack a chessboard, and he's asking my employees if they want to play chess. And they're like, I can't play a board game with you. I've got to get back to work. And so then, he leaves and comes in the back door, comes, like, you can't come in the back door, you don't work here. So we're locking the back door now. And then finally it got to the point where, uh, I don't want to use his real name. Let's say his name was Robert, which it's not. Uh, and for whatever reason, we thought he went by Bob. And in house, we know this guy. He comes in all the time. We're like, oh no, here comes Bob. Okay, get ready. Here comes Bob. Everybody goes and hides in the bathroom. Here comes Bob. And so basically, Bob comes to the door. And in the service center, we're calling him Bob all the time. And so he's telling us that he has an abusive family and they're mean to him and everything else. And we're just like, we're sorry about that, man, but we got to get back to work. And so finally, one of my texts was like, Bob, I enjoyed talking with you, but I've really got to get back to work. What did you call me? My name is not Bob. My name is Robert. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Sorry, but here's the deal. We really got to get back to work. Well, I don't appreciate you treating me like this. Bob, please don't misunderstand. I don't mean to treat you. What did you call me? Did you call me Bob again? You're abusive, just like my family. And he just like started going off. And then all of a sudden, he called my white employee. He said if he was black, he would call him a yeah. And at that point, my employee stood up and was like, out now, get out, leave now, now, Robert, leave right now. So he did. And they locked the door behind him to make sure he didn't come back in until he was gone. So anyway, then he called the Omaha Service Center looking for me because he was mad he got kicked out of the service center. So we have that kind of stuff happen, guys. And so it's crazy. So reality TV, right? I mean, we could totally have a reality show. I mean, wow, it'd be a cross between Pawn Stars and what else? It'd be like Pawn Stars, and there'd be a little bit of the Curse of Oak Island in there without the treasure hunting part, like the business part. It takes a lot of money to make this stuff happen. Blah 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 blah. And then I don't know. We could wear mullets and be Tiger King too. I don't know. Uh, so yeah, we have a TV show in us somewhere. Unfortunately, I'm so busy running a computer company. I'm not the guy to put the sizzle reel together and push it out and get someone to pick it up. But with all the streaming services out there, somebody would pick up that show. And we'd probably get like 12 viewers. It'd be great. All right. Carolyn says, I'll see what I can do. Uh-oh. All of a sudden, she's planning a Facebook watch party. All right. Grand Island Thors. I've talked to you before. Bill also says Grand Island. All right. And then what do we got here? And cheers. Yeah, it'd be like a little bit of cheers. That'd be fun. Oh, golly, guys. You're funny. You're so funny. Okay, so last call for questions. I got to get rolling here before we get going, guys. Last call for questions. Let me know if you have anything you want to go over, and we can do it. Big update is going to come out next week. Be ready for it. We're going to let you know when it's time to go. If you want to save some time on the launch day, make sure you know your Schrock account password. Because when we tell people to go, it's hilarious. Because I get an alert every time someone resets their password, just to make sure no one's trying to, if I see somebody trying to reset the password for the same customer 15 times, we know that there's an issue going on with that account, that someone's trying to hack into that account, and we can deal with it. So we keep an eye on your account for you. But when we tell people it's time to go for safe upgrade, everybody is resetting their password. So make sure you can go to SchrockInnovations.com and click login in the top right and log into your account. Where you can see the software download section, you can actually download Safe Upgrade right now. This is the version 2004. So this would be the the spring 2019 Safe Upgrade. Let me talk right. Ugh. Spring 2020 Safe Upgrade for May. So you can download that to your computer. Of course, you can't run it yet. If you run it, it'll say it's not time yet. So don't run it yet. And make sure you're downloading the right version. If you download the old versions of Safe Upgrade, they won't work for your computer. They'll just install the old version. Excuse me. Voice is telling me it's time to quit. I'm all congested too for some reason. Probably the weather changing. All right, let's see here. Scrolling down. Retail is like a box of chocolates. Yeah. It is. You get all the flavors. You get all the flavors in there. And then the best part is when you have a customer who's like being, you know, I don't mean to criticize customers. We appreciate any customer that comes in. As a business owner, I appreciate anyone who chooses to do business with us. But there are some customers that are easier to get along with than other customers. Let's put it that way. And when you have one of the more socially difficult customers on the front counter, who is yelling or screaming or upset with one of your employees for whatever reason, sometimes a legit reason, sometimes not a legit reason, and there's another customer standing behind them, and they're just watching an employee just get the living tar beat out of them. And then that person leaves, and then they walk up and they're like, I'm sorry for that guy. Like, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And you're just like, I appreciate you being a calm, rational individual. Thank you for that. How can I help you today? You get all kinds. You get all kinds. Sioux City. That would be interesting, Keith. Sioux City is the original home of Gateway Computers. So that would be the Cow Patch Company. So are we going to go to Cow Patch Country? They actually have like gardens and like parks named after Gateway Computers because they did all their manufacturing and stuff there. So the Midwest actually has a really rich history of computer-related work. All right, guys, we got to wrap it up for you today. Thanks for joining us. The new enclosures, you can read the post on Facebook we put up about that. The 3.1 enclosures are going to allow us to build any custom backup drive you want with USB 3.1 speed. So it's literally the next iteration. It'll be faster than even the solid state drives you can buy at Best Buy. It's going to be amazing. So those are going to be out probably here in the next month to two. We're also working on our own brand of card readers and a specific mount that we use in our modular computers. We're tired of buying them for $8 a piece when we can have them made for 60 cents a piece ourselves. The only problem is we got to buy like 1,000 of them, and that'll be enough to last us like 5 years. So because it's only used in one model of our computer, the most expensive one. So it's one of those things. But we'll save $5 a computer, right? It'll pay off eventually. Yeah, it will. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you joining us on the program. Google is starting to reopen Google reviews, so if you've not already left us a Google review for the location of your choice, please do so. Reviews on Google are the single fastest way that we can help other customers find us and give them great quality service. Please keep in mind when you refer your friends and family to us, tell them to mention the free hour of labor coupon when they come in. That is an honor do not offer. We don't just offer it out. You have to ask for it. We have a sign on the counter that says, please tell us about any discounts. Tell us that they want the free hour of labor and we will give it to them. So just make sure they say that when they come in. Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. I hope you all stay safe and have a good time and eat some great food. We'll talk to you again next week.